Did you know? Let's talk about AI for a minute. We all know that AI can be a problem for the environment, for taking money away from creators and artists, to students relying on it to complete schoolwork, especially research papers and the like. And AI by no means is at all perfect. It gets things wrong, right? You can enter something in and it can give you the completely wrong response or wrong answer or mess up what you're trying to tell it to do. But there is some good that comes with it as well. When used properly, AI can be a very good thing. It's a tool just like anything else. I use AI a lot in my daily life, but I try to use it as responsibly as possible. What I mean by that is I do my research. When I ask something, I don't just take it at face value. I actually look into it to double check, to make corrections and improvements and whatever else. Whenever I write my books or research papers or whatever the case may be, it doesn't write anything for me. I use it as an editor. Everything is my own words. It will go through and make some corrections. It will make it read a little easier, just like an actual editor would. When it comes to mental health, I use it there too for myself. I have my own counseling sessions for my mental health scheduled every other week. And between sessions, sometimes I get to thinking about things or ruminating on stuff. Maybe I experience certain emotions that I need to get out. And so I use it to journal those thoughts, those emotions, whatever the case may be, and receive feedback. But again, I don't take the feedback at face value. Just like with anything else, what you put into it is what you're going to get back. If you are very minimal in what you put in, if you are very minimal in what you say, what you type into the AI engine, you're going to get a very different response than what you would if you were very specific. I've pretty much put my entire life story from my perspective into an AI chat, ChatGPT specifically. I include my mental health struggles. I include what my childhood was like growing up. I include my present. I include relationships. I include my inner thoughts, feelings, emotions, my struggles. I also include my diagnoses into it to allow it a better understanding of me. And I'm not just talking about mental health diagnoses either, but physical health diagnoses, medical diagnoses as well. I recently came across several blogs I posted back in between 2004 and 2006 as I was looking for some old song lyrics that I typed up and posted in blogs at different points that I've been trying to find and haven't really found them yet. But that allowed me to see where I was between 2004 and 2006. And I copied those blog posts into the chat that I use for my mental health in between sessions, just to vent, just whatever. And it helped me to understand where I was at and to see the pattern over time and why I experienced that pattern over time. It didn't give me any solutions. It didn't tell me to do anything. It didn't tell me to kill myself or anything like that. I use it exactly as it should be used from a mental health perspective. I use it for analysis. I use it for feedback. I use it to help me understand. But I also use it for physical health as well. So I have a paid version of ChatGPT. So I use multiple different chats throughout the day for whatever I'm working on. And when it comes to my physical health, I actually have a summary from my mental health chat that I've named Watson and given it the personality of Dr. Watson from Sherlock Holmes, which you can do with AI. You can name them and give them personalities for whenever they respond back to you and everything, how they respond back to you. But I created a summary of my mental health chat and transferred it over to my calorie fitness chat, which I have named Alfred, after Alfred Pennyworth, Batman's butler, that I use for fitness, for physical health, for counting and tracking my calories and everything. And so it has been able to integrate that into my calorie counting and tracking to help me better understand why I consume the types of foods I do and patterns of how I consume them. But it also does the calculations for me. As somebody who's never been good with math, who is likely has dyscalculia, I could not do math to save my life unless it's very basic addition, subtraction, and multiplication. But algebra is no-go for me. So when it comes to calorie counting, there is a very specific formula you have to use. And being that I'm likely dyscalculiac, I can't. I would get a different answer every single time I tried. And so using it in that way can be very beneficial. And so what I do, I will enter in, I have a smart scale that connects to my phone. And I weigh myself. And it goes through all the BMI information of what it tracked in me. And I will take a screenshot of that and I will upload it every time I weigh myself. And it keeps track of all that. My weight, my body mass, my muscle weight, my fat weight, my water weight, all of that. It calculates that. And then I'll enter in an exercise. But I don't just say weightlifting. I will say, how many calories would I personally burn doing 3 sets of 10 of this exercise with this amount of weight at a steady pace? And then it calculates and gives me a range. And I usually take the median of that range to track for my calorie expenditure. So I have a number of exercises that I have programmed into my Alfred AI chat that all I have to do is say, I completed this workout circuit, and it will list all the exercises I did and all the calories I burned and add them up. But I also use it to track my calorie intake as well. When I'm eating something, I will generally take a picture of the nutritional facts and upload it and let it know how many servings of that I ate. Or if I don't have access to nutritional facts, I'll, do an estimate, find the closest. Like we have a restaurant here in town called Krekel's, and they are very close to Steak and Shake because Mr. Krekel, who originally founded Krekel's Hamburgers, was a grill cook at Steak and Shake for most of his life, and he wanted to start his own restaurant that was similar to Steak and Shake. So he made they were hamburgers that were smashed into the grill, so they're very thin. And so since this is a local restaurant, I don't have access to the nutritional value or nutritional facts. So I give estimates based off of Steak and Shake. And I make sure and include that Steak and Shake uses steak burgers. Krekel's uses hamburgers. And it's able to differentiate that and estimate. And then it gives me, at the end of the day, throughout the day actually, every time I enter in something new, whether it be input or output, it will give me an estimate of my net calories for that day at that time. And it's really helped me to stay on track. I even enter in the amount of time I spend standing at my desk at work. and it's able to estimate the amount of calories burned based on all the information I've entered in about myself and the amount of time I spent standing. So far, it's helped me lose about 20 pounds, which I've often struggled with in the past because I didn't fully understand calorie input and calorie output and where I need to be. But in order for it to work properly, you have to have a goal. You have to input what your goal, caloric, your end of day calorie goal is, your net calories. And it will help you keep track. The way Alfred works for me is it will tell me if I'm exerting too much under minimal nutrition. So if I get a workout in first thing in the morning before I eat or anything, it will tell me that I am entering a danger zone and I need to eat, and that I need to push protein so that I don't overeat later in the day. So the more specific you get, the more helpful it can be for you. Many people, though, refuse to use AI because it takes money away from artists and writers and everyone else, right? Wrong. If somebody is going to use AI for something, whether it be artwork or writing or editing or whatever, chances are they probably couldn't afford somebody to hire somebody to do those things anyway. So nobody's losing anything. Are there people who are using it when they don't need to? Sure, there's always going to be cheapskates. There's always going to be people looking for the cheapest way out. But for people who don't have the financial security to be able to hire others as a fitness and nutrition coach, or as somebody to create the cover for their book that they wrote, or an editor, or anything really, it can be very beneficial, and nobody is losing out because they wouldn't be able to afford to hire anyone anyway. Recently, my wife and I have been using it to upload old songs that we've written and hear them put to music. Many of the songs I've written were actually song lyrics from years ago that were originally put to music. But over time, I've lost the demo CDs and, no longer in a band or anything else. I'm 43 years old. My life is chaotic. I don't have time to start another band. But I'd still like to hear my words put to music. I'm not trying to make any money off of it. I'm using it therapeutically. And I share it with people via TikTok, via YouTube, via Facebook, whatever. I'm not trying to make money off of it. I'm just sharing it and expressing it. The same goes for my wife. She'll upload her song lyrics and turn it into music. She recently discovered that apparently she writes goth lyrics because AI suggested that these songs would sound really great as goth. And she tried it in a generic music app previously, and they sounded okay. But then when she went to this other engine and tried it, and was able to more specify the exact genre rather than having just a generic sound, then the emotion came out. And I know that can be a little hard to understand how emotion can come out when something is AI generated. But the emotion is in the words and in the style of expression. Whenever we, as musicians, start bands or whatever, we start with the specific genre that we feel expresses our words the best. AI does the same thing. And I'll agree, it shouldn't be used to win awards or anything like that. It shouldn't be used to make money. But when used properly, it can be very therapeutic. I actually created a fictional band for my songs called Neon Raven, and I actually included myself in the band as the bassist. And I used AI to generate this fictional band. I also used AI to create the music to my words. I chose the style, I chose what instruments should be included in each song. It's still my music. It's my words. It's my emotion, my heart, my thoughts, everything about me. But I'm not using it to make money. I've uploaded them onto YouTube and TikTok, but they're not monetized. When it comes to the environmental impact, though, that is a struggle, right? Because these data centers do cause harm to the environment. But I challenge you to find any advancement in technology that hasn't caused harm to the environment at first. When something starts out, it's always going to cause harm to the environment. There's always going to be an impact. But that's when we make adjustments. These corporations aren't going to put the time, effort, and money into making those changes if the product isn't valuable in the first place. If it doesn't show that it's feasible financially. They're not going to spend billions and billions, if not trillions of dollars trying to make something ecologically friendly if they're going to go bankrupt. Eventually, improvements will be made. We just have to show that it's needed, that the product itself is valuable enough to warrant making those changes. This isn't naivety, it isn't lack of intelligence or understanding around the harm. It also isn't motivated by continued use of AI. This is a realistic observation. Every technology on the planet, every advancement that has come has had some ecologic impact on our environment until it showed that it was valuable and that those changes could be made and not impact the bottom line. AI is here. We can either embrace it and push it forward to become more ecologically sound, more ecologically friendly, or we can try to ignore it and have it grow anyway, and no changes get made to how it's done, how ecologically friendly or unfriendly it could be. Let's talk